Thanks for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans. I am your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, from realtors, lenders, builders, developers, residential or commercial, essentially gathering insight, what inspires, what motivates these top professionals to the highest of highs, above and beyond everybody else, and what I would like to consider a real estate titan. Our very special guest and featured titan today, Amy Kunce-Martinez. Amy, thanks so much for being on the show.
No, you're good. Heat him up. I'm trying to heat him up.
Good to see you. Absolutely. So I just wanted to jump right in and kind of go through the series of questions that we go through when it comes to every single Titan out there, and just give a window into everybody out there who Amy really is. So let's just jump right in. Want to know that. I'm sure everybody out there is super stoked. I know I am. So let's just jump into it. So go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody, Amy.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Amy Kunce-Martinez. Got the Martinez from my husband. He's sitting in the room because I need moral support.
He's right over there.
He's right there. So, been born and raised in Colorado Springs. Went to Wasson, so go T-Birds. Just couldn't imagine living anywhere else, and just I think that's about it.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I think that it's great to kind of get a glimpse into everybody's background and where they come from, what's going on. So I guess a little bit into that, what got you into the business in the first place, Amy?
Well, it's funny actually how I talked my way into the business.
Okay.
I was working and doing data entry at a place called Telephone Express over on Kelly Johnson. And
okay.
They got bought out by a company in Texas, and so one of the guys that worked in tech support said, "Hey, you're going to need a job." I said, "Yeah, I know." He said, "Go apply at ERA," or it wasn't even ERA, it was Shields back then. That's how old I am. It was Shields, and
Okay.
he said, "My girlfriend's going to quit, and they don't know it yet. So go apply as a receptionist there." So I did, and I made the final interviews, and of the two people, the VP said, "No, don't hire her. She won't stay as a receptionist. She's way too qualified," and I talked my way into the job.
Wow.
And he was right. I only stayed there for about 6 months before Joe Clement recruited me over to be a receptionist for him.
Get out.
And then I started off being an assistant, went to a buyer's agent, and now we own the Cutting Edge.
Okay, yeah, and that's quite a progression in your career and time frame.
Right.
So, and all being in El Paso County, so you've seen a lot of change in our marketplace.
Yes, I've seen it go up and down and up and down.
Okay.
Back up.
And here we are right now,
Here
which
we
is
are.
great. So, talking a little bit about Cutting Edge too, because you mentioned that.
Right.
So, as far as the background into that and what really inspired you, going forward with Gary and the other partners.
Well, when I was a receptionist at Shields, I used to say you couldn't pay me enough to be a realtor, so there was that.
Wow,
So don't never say never.
Everybody listen to that.
And, when we had, I think, a benefit of just having really great mentorship, and I know we've talked about that in the past, and we got to the point where we were just ready to do our own thing, and we had some ideas and wanted to get outside of the box, and so kind of sparked this whole thing and this whole adventure. And we didn't mean for it to be as big as it's gotten at one point. We thought, oh, well, maybe we'll work from home and we'll do this, we'll just have our team and do our thing, and then it just kept growing and growing until we are where we are.
That's unbelievable. I mean, the energy inside here, every time I walk in, it's something else. I think I might have mentioned that in Gary's episode, but I just think that it's so different.
It is.
It really is. There's a
is.
vibe and a culture here that you guys have created. It's fantastic. So.
And we defend it fiercely, and it's probably one of the most important things to us is our culture here and our agents.
Well, I think that kind of touches base into as far as really what we're talking about in the next question. Right. So what's your why, Amy? I mean, what really motivates you, gets you out of bed in the morning, to do what you do on the level that you do it at?
Well, my husband would tell you it's my dogs, and
that's just great.
True.
Oh, come on.
So, actually, it is my family.
Okay.
And I consider my family not just my immediate family and my kids and all of that. I feel that my agents and our team are our family.
Wow.
And I feel like my clients are our family. And so, if I don't walk away at the end of a deal feeling like I'm truly friends with my clients, then I feel like I failed.
Okay.
And so when it comes to my family, they all call me Mama Bear.
Cool.
And that's because I will defend them to the death, to protect what's mine. And if I feel there's any injustice or anything, you better look out, because I'm going to come after you.
Watch out, everybody.
Watch out.
Amy's out there. But that's great, though, and it's a testament to, your reputation and just what everybody says about you, not just here in this operation, but just across the city. I mean, it's fantastic. So.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just always, for us, and what we try to teach our team and our agents is we put our clients before our own needs. Their clients' needs always come first.
Sure.
And sometimes that means you don't get a paycheck because you have to do what's best for your clients.
Hey.
And that's why I think our referral business has always been so high.
Okay.
Is because we put our clients first.
Well, and I think that is a beautiful segue into really an insight into your business professionalism and prowess. So for everybody out there who's watching, other real estate professionals, Amy, if you could pick or choose maybe one or two things that you adjusted in your career thus far that really took your business to another level, what does that look like? If some advice out there for some professionals that are watching.
I think for us, if I had to pick one or two things that we've done, just treating your clients, like I said, like family. Being involved in their lives, letting them know that they truly matter to you. They're not just another deal. I tell people all the time, I will never sell a house. I'll help you find the right house, but I'm never going to sell you anything.
Wow.
Because to me it's not about that paycheck.
Sure.
It's about making sure our clients are taken care of. We did take a little strong stance with Tom Ferry and the coaching there, and I'll give a shout out to my coach Emily.
Yeah. Hey Emily.
Hey Emily. So I think the thing with Tom Ferry that we appreciate is it's not just your database, it's not one source of business. There's 36 sources of business, and it's like you've got to reach out there and try to just take in, don't just limit yourself on where you're trying to get. Don't just focus on leads. Don't just focus on your database. There's a lot of things out there that you can do.
Sure.
And so I think that's an important part for agents getting in is don't try to just focus on one thing.
And I think that diversifying your income streams that way, I think that's really the message out there to everybody is, and everything is different for every single professional.
Right.
And I think you got to find your niche and what works for you, and then just go and tackle that. Continuous. So obviously over your career, just continually going after it.
Right.
So I did want to touch on something else. So just at the reputation that you have, kind of being the queen of contracts, right? I've heard that personally before. So what really got you involved that way, Amy? Like, why are you just so driven for that particular segment, above and beyond everything else?
Above and beyond, you're right, because that is probably to me. I've been called a few things when it comes to the contracts.
But we're keeping it positive here, everybody.
But in a good way. I'm slightly detail oriented when it comes to the contracts.
Sure.
But that's because that's where you're going to protect your clients the most upfront. Right out of the gate, you've got to write. If you can write a good, solid contract and know and understand that contract, then it's a lot easier to protect your clients and in turn yourself as an agent than trying to clean up the mess afterwards.
Okay.
So my agents know that when I'm going through those contracts, I'm like, nope, it's this way, and and here's why. And it's more important for me to understand the why behind it. And if you truly understand the concepts behind the thinking that goes into the way we write our contracts, then you're going to be just fine.
Love it. And I think that's huge advice for everybody out there who's really paying attention to this. Is it does take time, though, Amy. I mean, you didn't just wake up one day and know everything that you know and have the professionalism that you have.
Gary says I did.
Okay. Well, if Gary says it, I might believe that. Okay, so let's go into a slightly tougher question for everybody out there to get another window into Amy. And I think that when life is simple or easy, we can all kind of skate through that. But when challenges hit our way, when it's tough, I think that really separates everybody, from the top professionals that way. So could you select a challenge that you dealt with in your life, Amy, that you overcame that made you stronger at the end of it?
Well, I think challenges about me and stories about me are legendary.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I've dealt with a lot of things. Just recently I just had my spine fused for the second time in March.
Oh my gosh.
But I think anytime you face a challenge, I think that's where we call those character building days. That's where you grow stronger. That's where you see what you're made of. And to me, it's a choice. You have a choice when you're faced with any kind of challenge, whether it's a daily challenge or a big life event challenge. Then you have a choice, and you can either lay down and be a victim and not learn from it, or you can keep standing up.
Right.
And I'm just somebody that you can knock me down, but I will stand up every single time.
Wow.
And for me, it's like I will never be a victim.
Sure.
And I will always choose to learn from the mistakes. And at the end of the day, it's like I tell our kids all the time too. You don't blame anybody else. You own it, because you are accountable for your actions. At the end of the day, it's your choice. And so you got to be careful what those choices are.
Wow. I mean, that's super deep. I mean, for everybody out there paying attention to that. And when you were talking about, getting your spine fused, that sort of thing, I remember seeing some pictures on Facebook, and you were literally laying down in the hospital, yes. But you were in the hospital, and you were going at it. I mean, you care as far as your clients are concerned. You were answering either texts or emails from either buyers or sellers, yes. But I mean, that's going above and beyond the service. So anybody who knows Amy out there, she goes above and beyond.
I have stuff to do.
Got to get it done right before surgery. I mean, it's there. So, I mean, I just thought that was phenomenal. I mean, really, I just want to make sure that the other professionals, but also consumers out there watching this, understand how hard you guys work and what you do to get to the level you get to. You don't just roll out of bed and it happens. We
don't. And, for me, it's like I used to tell my friends, because they get irritated, that you're on your phone and you're doing stuff on the weekend, and they're like, hey, are you paying attention? Well, yeah, kind of, but I've got to focus on what's going on here, because our job does not stop at 5 p.m. Wow. And for us, if we have a bad day at work, somebody's life is impacted. And a much greater level than you go to work and have a bad day, well, you have a bad day. We go to work and have a bad day, somebody's life is impacted. And so that's why we don't turn it off at 5 p.m. Be nice.
Yeah. Hey, what is that?
There are those days where you want to take your phone and chuck it.
Sure. but I think that you get it done when it's necessary. You have that balance and quality of life with family, but if there's time constraints, things that have to get done, and that you just make it happen.
You have to make it happen.
And I think that's for the greater good, not just for your clients, but just for the industry as a whole. Okay, so thanks for sharing that, Amy. I know it's not the easiest thing to do when it comes to challenges, but living that way. But I think that's a really good example to just continue to grow and keep pushing through no matter what happens, because we all deal with issues. So thanks for sharing that. So let's go into a slightly softer question into that. So if you could travel back in time and give your younger self a piece of advice or two, for anything, personally, professionally, what might that be? What would you say to younger Amy?
Younger Amy, well, probably
okay.
You don't have to say everything you think. But no, I think for me, I always knew that I was going to succeed.
Okay.
It's whatever it was. My parents just instilled at me. You can do and be whoever you want to be. So, again, choose wisely. Like, if you're going to make those choices, again, it comes down to your choices.
Right.
I would say that for me, going back, if I were to tell younger me, just keep doing what you do. And don't be afraid to be you. And I never really have been, because you kind of get, you see what you get.
Yeah, which is great.
It is what it is.
Which is great.
But for me, it's just own it. Just own who you are. You are who you are, and don't try to change who you are.
I think that's huge advice. Otherwise, you just move on.
Right.
And I think that's really, really good
to
know. So we should all take that a little bit more and kind of go through that for sure. So, but let's go into, I guess, the next questioning into this, what's happening. So let's talk about, what you're feeding your mind as far as maybe what books you're reading, what podcasts you listen to, or influencers on social media that you might be following for that.
Like I said, I do listen to mostly the Tom Ferry podcast.
Sure.
And I do like him. He's entertaining, so you got to keep, we all have ADD in this business, so you got to keep our attention spans rolling.
Right.
As far as books, my coach did recommend I read a book called Less Doing, More Living.
Okay.
I think she may or may not think I'm a control freak, so that maybe I need to let some things go.
Okay.
That book has made it to my ottoman now. It's getting closer. I picked it up. I did read the introduction, but I'm getting there.
That's a start. That's a start for sure.
I think books, things that I've used in the past. Brian Tracy he had a series called Eat That Frog.
Okay.
And I am a Class A procrastinator. Wow. So the whole concept was, if the worst thing you had to do every day was eat a frog, then you'll just get it out of the way first thing, and then you've got the whole rest of the day. You don't have to sit there and wait, procrastinating and stressing over this frog that you know is there. Just eat the frog and get on with it. So you just do your most important, the thing you want to do the least, just do first.
Wow, yeah.
And get it out of the way. And so that's something that I've always tried to do.
Okay.
Don't look at my desk, you won't believe me.
Don't look at that.
Don't look at the desk, okay? Genius at work.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Okay, and just so everybody knows, we're definitely going to be listing all those books and anything that's in there, so that you guys can kind of follow along with what Amy's reading, what's going through. So any other thoughts that way, podcasts or influencers or?
No, I read a lot of contracts.
Okay, so that's there. It's back to business, everybody. Priorities, that's important, that's important. Okay, cool. Well, so last question, Amy, and this has been huge. This has been chock full of information, so I really appreciate it. But if you could sum up your brand, you as a professional, in a mantra or a quote that you live by, what does that look like for you?
There's a couple. Ever since I was young, there's a little Shakespearean quote that says, "Although she be but little, she is fierce." And that is something that, to me, I just feel inside that, I am a natural protector. And for whether it's my clients or my family or whatever it is, I have that personality where I am a fighter.
Okay.
One of my quotes that I definitely live by is, "Those who don't think outside the box are easily contained." And so,
I love that.
Just don't box yourself in. On piggyback on that one, my other one is, I won't sit in somebody else's box just for their comfort level.
Oh, that's great.
Don't try to put me in the box. I'll get out of the box and I'll kick the box.
Everybody heard that out there.
Just don't even put me in there. So, but
that's awesome.
That's kind of some of the stuff that we just think. We're just outside of the box people, and we don't want to be contained. And can't hold me down.
Well, and that's big, and that's a testament to your brand and who you are and what you represent, Amy. I mean, that speaks for itself.
Well, we try.
So, no, that's awesome. Well, hey.
Gary will get me on that one. We don't try, we do.
That's right, Gary. Well, seriously, though, Amy, thanks so much for taking the time to be on the show. It was an absolute blast, tons of great data. So I want to definitely officially say you are a real estate titan.
Oh, I appreciate it.
So thanks so much for being on the show. Appreciate it.
I didn't beat you up that time.
Oh, gosh, it didn't hurt as bad as it looked. So thanks so much, everybody, for taking the time, as always, for joining in, tuning in every Tuesday and Friday afternoon, a different Titan, a different location. We'll definitely catch everybody on the next episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care.